Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name is Mike Amos, and so far yet to come, Bill Rice Jr. and my son Mike Amos, who's calling from Great Beach, Florida. Big news, ladies and gentlemen, to start the show off with. Coach Hugh Fountain, longtime head football coach at Charles Henderson High School, and then, of course, around 10 years or more as the head football coach at he's a new coach at Pike, but it's Cambia Academy in Atmore, Alabama, and he is stepping down from that position to accept and take the Pike Liberal Arts School job. Announces made Hugh Fountain is the new head football coach and AD at Pike Liberal Arts School. Bill Rice comes in, and I'm sure he's going to be caught with this information. The new head football coach and athletic director at Pike Liberal Arts School is one Hugh Fountain.
My wife told me that last night.
Oh, she knew that last night. Okay.
It must have gone out on Facebook. And, she didn't move to Troy until about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, who is Hugh Fountain? And I said, oh, well, he's just one of the finest human beings I've ever met in my life.
You're exactly right. I would have said that first. I would say Hugh, great person to begin on.
I have never heard him say anything bad about anybody else. I've never heard him say a cuss word. He wants to help people. It's just a home run hire for Pike Liberal Arts, I think.
Well, it was something that I was thinking that they were going to keep their baseball coach and who did a magnificent job as head baseball coach. I didn't even know that they were looking for a coach.
Billy might call us, but Russ Hixson would do a fine job and has done a fine job as coach. But I think he just might have had too much on his plate.
Yeah.
And his future is going to be as a baseball coach. He's going to go far in baseball, and
he's going to stay
on as athletic director. So he'll be a leader in athletic, and he's still going to help coach football.
I'm thinking that Coach Fountain is going to keep the position as athletic director.
Oh, really?
It says here, Pike Liberal Arts announces Hugh Fountain will be the next head football coach and athletic director.
All right, well,
and a guy like him, now he wouldn't take the job without being athletic director.
Well,
he wants to run the show, no question about it.
Well, so that is, interesting in that respect, but I just got the feeling that Rush signed off on this and was
and he's a very young head baseball coach at Pike Liberal Arts and will remain the head baseball coach and assistant football coach at Pike Liberal Arts, but a veteran coach, ladies and gentlemen, long-time coach at his alma mater in Bruton, Alabama, and then now he's moves. He was
moving back to Troy.
Very successful head football coach at Escambia County. He won 2 state championships while he was there, and has developed. Made that program one of the top programs.
Right, if they don't win it, they're competing for it.
Yeah, no question about it. And a very good friend of mine, a very good person, like Rice said to begin the show. That's one of the first things that comes to your mind. What a great human being this guy is. As the new head football coach.
Well, they got Russ Hixson, who's a great human being, and they got Forrest Lee, who's a great human being, and now they got Hugh Fountain. And then I don't know, the basketball coach is a great human being. And
yes, sir. No question about it. Forrest Lee, you're right. Forrest Lee is a part of that staff too. He's head coach.
He would vouch for Coach Fountain, wouldn't he?
Oh, I think he would. I think anybody that knows him will definitely vouch for him. And veteran coach who knows the ropes of both public and private schools, and Pike Liberal Arts now turning their athletic program into a class, Alabama High School Athletic Association class 2A. So he'll be taking over a 2A program at Pike Liberal Arts
Well,
School.
he's coming at an interesting time. I mean, when they are making the transition to public school football, Coach Fountain will now lead them into the tough waters of football, but he knows how to do it.
Well, I tell you, he coached at Charles Henderson, I want to say 15 years at Charles Henderson High School, and of course he did an outstanding job as a head football coach at Charles Henderson High School, and then, like we said earlier, outstanding coaching job at Escambia Academy, and also you got T.R. Miller, and what's the other school over there in Bruton?
W.S. Neal.
W.S. Neal. He was the head coach at W.S. Neal, which was his alma mater.
That's right.
For a long time too.
And his brother has done well in coaching too. He is on the staff at Arkansas as an assistant coach,
and his I want to say his son's on that staff.
I think so. I think Coach Fountain's son is a graduate assistant.
That's a surprise, Michael.
Guten Morgen.
Morning.
Mike, we've got some big news. The big news is that Pike Liberal Arts has announced that Hugh Fountain will be their next head coach and athletic director.
Yeah, I read that yesterday. I actually called you. I was kind of shocked. I had no idea because, we had Russ Hixson on, I don't know, 3 weeks ago before the state championship game. And he was the head coach in baseball and football and athletic director. But I guess Pike Liberal Arts and maybe Russ himself decided, maybe he just wanted to stick to baseball and bring in a guy that's a proven commodity as far as coaching the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
Thank you.
Charles Henderson for
Appreciate
16 years. Took Charles Henderson to the playoffs 10 times. Of course, has had unbelievable success at Escambia Academy as well. A guy that has won 250 games as a head coach.
I would call him a veteran coach, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and he's only about a couple years older, about my age, so he's not that old. Well, am I old? Maybe.
Yeah, it says Hugh Fountain will be athletic director, head varsity football coach. Effective immediately, Coach Russ Hixson will remain as assistant athletic director, assistant head football coach, and head varsity baseball coach.
Which is a big honor for Russ Hixson and his young coaching career. He can really learn from, as far as the sport of football, from Coach Hugh Fountain. And then at the same time, he'll be in charge of an outstanding baseball program at Pike Liberal Arts School, and I'm sure he's excited about that.
I mean, I guess John Ramage, kind of put all this into works and met up with Coach Fountain, and I'm sure Russ was involved as well. And I'm sure Coach Fountain wanted to come back to Troy. He spent a lot of years in Troy, Alabama. I know he played football at Troy, and then he coached for 16 years here. So Troy is definitely like a second home.
There's no question about it. And
well, he'll have a lot of friends, and he'll be right at home since his children are grown now. But I think this is just an awesome hire for Pike Liberal Arts. Didn't see it coming, but
I didn't either. And again, this is no
reflection on
no reflection on what a great young coach Russ is, and he'll continue to show the talent that he has as a baseball coach.
Well, yeah, my impression on Russ is, I don't know how anybody can do both and do it well.
Yeah, that's right.
They're full-time jobs in themselves, and so if Russ is looking out for his career, he's the sky's the limit. He might want to stay at Pike Liberal Arts for his whole career, and I hope he does. But Russ Hixson can be, he can be
the sky's the limit
the
on
New
what
York
it can be.
Yankees or the Auburn or Alabama or Troy University.
And of course,
the reason this happened though with Fountain though, I mean, is this is what happens when you go to public school. You go to the public school schedule. You start, you leave private school and you join the Alabama High School Athletic Association. That attracted, I'm sure, Coach Fountain. He wants to get back and compete at a higher level himself.
Yeah. Because we're getting information coming in here from our staff here.
Fountain's record as Academy Academy was incredible. He was 94-31 since he's left Charles Henderson, win state titles in 2014, 2017, and then he lost. That's making the last 6 title games.
Wow.
So they've been super competitive. He's 253 and 133 as a head coach in 35 years as a head coach. He spent 1 year at Evergreen, 7 years at WSNL, 16 years at Charles Henderson, and 10 years at Academy Academy.
I tell you, and to go with a legacy of a great person that of coaching kids and doing it the right way, no question about it. He's going to enhance this program like you won't believe.
Yep. Mike, I want to thank you for bringing those baseball gloves over to Jack Rice.
Hey, it might be like bringing baseball gloves to Hank Aaron, you reckon?
Yeah. It was like a thrill. At first, my wife thought that Frank and Liz had found some. I said, no, Mike said he found some. Because there was something else on the porch, too, from them. But it was from you. And then I would have called you and thanked you, but guess what I did this weekend?
What?
I got a flip phone. I'm one of the few people left in America that has a flip phone. Well, I left it in my khaki pants, and I washed my khaki pants.
Oh, gosh.
And so I think that is it for my flip phone. I have no cell phone.
Oh, boy.
So this is the first chance I've had to, we've already got out there, and not only does Jack have a real glove, Dad has a real glove, because I need a glove.
It needs to be broken out a little bit.
Some of them are broken in fine.
Now
then you also brought me a little a kid's baseball bat, too. A real bat, a real ball, real gloves. And so Jack is off and running on his baseball career.
The baseball mitt, the big mitt, is a first baseman's mitt, and if you want to use it, or if that young nephew of yours might want to use it, if he's a first baseman, but I don't know, it's not a left-handed glove, though.
I saw him, too. I saw...
That had to be my first baseman, because I played first base my whole life.
I'm sure it was, Mike.
We used to have a... first base mitt at one point, so one of us must have played first base along the way, and then the catcher's mitt. Bobby, my brother Bobby, was a catcher in Little League.
Yeah.
So that's a tough position, but he did it.
You know where that first base mitt came from? It came from Troy State University. Coach Gene Dews gave me that first baseman's mitt.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Thank you.
Well, that belongs to Bill Rice Jr.
Well, I know, but no, I'm saying that that was a Troy University baseball mitt.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I played with his son David.
Yeah. Boy, I went to the tournament and really enjoyed it. Troy really did very, very well in the Sun Belt Conference tournament this past weekend, beating
Coastal Carolina
on Thursday night. Friday morning. They beat Coastal Carolina, one of the top teams in the nation. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Well, they're 29 in RPI, so let me see if Coastal made the tournament. I need to see who all made it.
No, they got who Alabama didn't make it.
Yeah, so they're saying Alabama's coach could be on the hot seat.
So they did well in the tournament,
Not well enough.
But
so how did Troy end up?
Troy ended up winning over 30 games. They beat Coastal Carolina. What's the final score?
Final record is 32-24.
Yeah, it's not bad winning 30 games.
So how many games did they win in the Sun Belt tournament?
They won one, and then they lost.
They won one.
But let me tell you, they lost this now in the first game that they played. They beat Coastal Carolina. I said behind the great pitching, Mike, of
The left fielder.
Rigsby Mosley, the outstanding left-handed pitcher. And I noticed he made the all-tournament team too in the tournament. And and then the next day on Saturday, they got another great pitching performance from their. In fact, he at one time was their starting pitcher, and that was oh gosh, what was his name, Mike? You got to help me. But he came. He was injured most of the. He came back. Garrett Gaines, and Gaines pitched a beautiful game. Went all the way to the seventh inning, trailing only by 1 run, and in fact, there was only 1 run scored in the last in the eighth inning, and then in the eighth inning, they some things started erupting, and they lost that one to Georgia Southern. Georgia, I don't know how they ended up, but do you know how they ended up, Mike?
I mean, Georgia Southern, is hosting a regional in Statesboro, so I imagine they won the conference championship.
You think they did? Well, I tell you what.
They're number 1 seed hosting UNC Greensboro, Notre Dame, and Texas Tech will be going to Statesboro.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right, who now again?
Georgia Southern, the Big Troy, is hosting a regional.
Where Carson Eubanks, the Pike Boulevard shortstop and quarterback, is going to go play.
I'm surprised that they got a regional because of some of the things
deal.
ahead of them.
You don't hear too many Sun Belt teams getting regionals. That is a big deal.
Well, congratulations to them, and congratulations to the Sun Belt. You know, hey, that's a big thing for the Sun Belt.
Tennessee is the number 1 overall seed. They've been. Alabama actually beat Tennessee in the game this year, which nobody really did at all. But Tennessee will open up their regional playing Alabama State, who Troy beat a couple times this year. Alabama State won the SWAC.
And they get
and they're also having their regional Georgia Tech, who Troy beat on a Wednesday night about 3 weeks ago.
That's right. What it all tells me, to all of you people out there, wherever you're from and wherever your favorite team is, Troy is good enough to play with anybody in Division I baseball. Wouldn't you have to? Yeah. I'd have to say that, wouldn't you?
On a given day. Yeah.
Troy on a given day.
Another big regional is Auburn will host a regional at Plainsman Park. Auburn is the number 1 seed hosting Southeast Louisiana, who I know Troy played a 3-game.
That's right, sure did. Yeah.
And then they'll play also in that regional against Auburn will be UCLA and Florida State. So that's a great regional.
Oh, boy. UCLA had to travel a long ways, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Going to the lovely field.
They hadn't traveled yet. But now Louisiana Lafayette is also in the tournament. They must have won the Sun Belt outright.
Yeah, let's find out who won the thing. That would be good.
Louisiana Lafayette in the regional. They'll play at Texas A&M, their number 1 seed, Texas A&M, Oral Roberts, TCU, and Louisiana. The SEC had 9 teams invited to the regional. Alabama was not one of them.
Yeah. And that's it.
Alabama
and then you got Coastal Carolina. The Coastal Carolina did make it.
Oh, gosh.
They'll play East Carolina. I know East Carolina's the number 1 seed. They'll play Coppin State. Virginia will play Coastal Carolina. So the Sun Belt got 3 teams in the NCAA regional.
Yeah, two of them as the host.
One of them is actually hosting the regional.
Oh, well, is that Georgia Southern?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you said that Coastal was hosting.
No, they're playing in Greenville, which is where East Carolina is the number 1 seed.
Oh, okay. But did Coastal make it?
Yeah, it's a 3 seed.
Okay. Boy, that just goes to show you the quality of the Sun Belt, and and Troy played like I'm saying, in that first game, it went down to, and Troy won.
Beat Coastal Carolina in the tournament, and then they could have beat Georgia Southern this hosting.
Yeah, they played them off the feet.
Troy was only down 1-0 in the 8th inning.
That's right.
Troy baseball.
I tell you what, I'm going to tell you something, Coach, the Troy baseball coach, who, and he did a real good job this year with the Trojans, winning 32 games. And
well, he's got his first year under him now, and better things to come.
Oh yeah.
They were doing good, then they ran out of pitching, and then they had a tailspin late in the season, but then they kind of rallied at the very end of the season to leave a better taste in our mouth on the season.
The Louisiana Lafayette won the Sun Belt Conference tournament. They beat Georgia Southern 7-6.
Oh, that's a good ball game, wasn't it?
Boy, that was
just one game though. The rain caused it to
be a single elimination.
To be a single elimination. That made a big difference, didn't you think, Mike?
That opened up Troy to have a chance.
Yeah.
Troy could have won the thing.
Yeah. But the rain, knocked out two whole days of play, and just.
Yeah, I mean Troy swept Louisiana Lafayette this year too, beating three games in a row.
Isn't that amazing?
Troy peaked too early though. Troy at one time was 29-14, and won only three more games the rest of the year.
Another thing we didn't mention during Coach the Troy coach.
The baseball coach got hit with a line drive.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, that's right. The Troy coach got hit with a line drive, and that slowed down some of the Trojan efforts.
Where did he get hit?
In the mouth.
Oh,
the worst place you can be hit.
That's
what he was doing? He was catching a pitcher in the bullpen. And what he was doing, he took it. And
eye off the.
Evidently, he didn't have his face mask on.
Man, that is. There have been people killed by
that's right.
line drive.
He got hit in the face with a line drive, and he shows how tough he is. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I didn't even mention this. I mean, there's actually 4 teams out of the Sun Belt. I totally forgot. Texas State won 46 games.
Golly.
The 4 Sun Belt teams made the NCAA regional. That's got to be a record.
They won 46 games. I bet you that's the most in the whole country. I bet.
The only problem is they're a number 2 seed in the Stanford regional, and Stanford's the number 2 seed overall. Number 1 seed, of course, in their own regional.
But that is a fine effort.
Stanford will play Binghamton. Texas State will play UC Santa Barbara. Wow, what a trip.
Well, and let me tell you this, all of those California teams are very good in baseball.
Stanford put the Alabama softball team out, beat them in Tuscaloosa in the regional. First time in my lifetime that's happened.
Mike, how many teams in it?
Well, that means that Lafayette, by winning the conference tournament, that's the reason they got put in, because their overall record was only 36-21.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing, though, that 4 Sun Belt teams are in the NCAA regional. It's only 64 teams. So 64 teams, 4 out of the Sun Belt.
We'll try to get Coach Skylar Meade on the show. Not just to just discuss his being hit by a ball in batting practice, but just to talk to us about all of the college baseball teams and how well the Sun Belt did. So that's going to be a good interview when we get it.
That's got to be a record, though. I've never heard of the Sun Belt getting that many.
Yeah.
The Sun Belt is a great baseball conference, though. The Sun Belt teams have, Coastal won a national championship. South Alabama has a rich baseball tradition.
I never
Troy,
see.
Louisiana Lafayette, Georgia Southern is now apparently really good.
Again, back to not being able.
How about this too, Russ? Southern Miss is number 1 in their regional. They're hosting in Hattiesburg.
Oh boy!
Southern Miss.
They,
Southern Miss will be in the Sun Belt next year.
and they've always been good in baseball.
So Southern Miss will have Army coming to their regional, LSU, and then another good program, Kennesaw State out of Atlanta.
Yeah, Troy played them. Troy might have played them twice. How many times they play? It's amazing how many of these teams Troy played and did well against. There's no question in my mind or anybody else's mind now that Troy is as good as any team in the country. And on a given day, Troy can beat your team right here. There's no question about it. And I think Coach Skylar Meade should be really applauded for a great season.
Well, we got
winning what, 32 games, Mike?
We've got really good baseball tradition.
32.
We're revamping Riddle Pace Field, so that ought to help recruiting.
The next time you go to Riddle Pace Field, you'll be able to sit in a chairback seat regardless of where your tickets are. So that'll tell you one thing right there.
You know, and I've said it many times on the show that Troy, if lightning strikes and you get the right pieces together, Troy could win a national championship in baseball.
Yeah, that's right.
Could win a national championship.
And they can
certainly get to the College World Series. All they got to do is put a couple wins together in the regionals.
Yeah.
But it takes 2 pitchers and probably 3, somebody in the bullpen.
Mike, against, it was 1-0 in the second game for a long time, and until the 8th inning. And then, how many runs did they score by beating Coastal, Mike? How many runs did they score?
I mean, Troy was up 4-2 and gave up a double, and Coastal tied at 4-4, and then Troy scored 2 in the 9th to win it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, but we're talking about 5 runs in two games. That's not bad. They really did well, no question.
It's like Jacksonville State, the great Jacksonville State Gamecocks and the Alabama State Hornets will open the 2022 football season. Will be televised as a doubleheader. Is Johnny Williams involved in this, Dad?
Oh, he's very involved with that game. So,
all right, so this will be a doubleheader on ESPN. The Gamecocks will begin their schedule versus Stephen F. Austin and the FCS kickoff at the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery. That game, which marks the debut of Jacksonville State head coach Rich Rodriguez. And then the Alabama State Hornets will face Howard in the MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff at Georgia State's Center Credit Union Stadium. Well, basically, that's where the old Turner Field used to be, where the Georgia State plays their football games. That'll be the debut of Alabama State's new head football coach, Eddie Robinson Jr. He was a former great Alabama State linebacker that played in the pros for about 11 years. He's Alabama State's new coach. So back-to-back games that day on ESPN for Jacksonville State and Alabama State.
Well, we need to have Jacksonville State's fanfare, shouldn't we? We should have.
But that's great exposure for those programs.
Yes, sir. What, you mean Jacksonville's program?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to be on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama State be on ESPN.
Well, what's the date on there? What's the date?
27th.
And is that on a Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, so it's all other teams will be playing then too, won't they?
Well, I think most of them start the week after on the 4th.
So they're going to get some real exposure there, and of course Jacksonville.
They call that week 0. It's kind of like about 10 or 12 teams play on that August week before the actual regular season starts.
So September 4th, and then who's Alabama and Auburn play in Troy? Troy plays
at Ole Miss.
At Ole Miss. Wow.
I will tell you this: that
game has been picked up by the SEC Network at 3:00. That game has already been on the books.
Who is that now?
Troy and Ole Miss.
Oh, that's great. It's going to be on
Ole Miss are on the SEC Network at 3:00. There's
wonderful.
94 days to start a college football season.
And Troy plays Ole Miss on national TV.
And we're all going to be there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I looked at rooms in Tunica. They're all like $300 a night. I hope Will Matthews gets y'all a better deal.
Oh boy,
well, here's what we do. We go to the casinos. We put $300 on one hand.
Yeah.
And then we say we get dealt an 18, and the dealer has a 6, and the dealer busts, and we get one night's room free.
Yeah.
Or you could just go to the sports book and just do it that way.
I hope you had
Bet on the Braves,
yeah.
the Atlanta Braves.
I hope all of you had your flags out, and you still have your flags out to honor our nation.
I got mine out. I can see them right now.
That's right, to honor our nation, and with Memorial Day. Was a lot of people down there, Mike?
Oh, there was a lot of people down there. Yeah. It was standing room only on the beach in Grayton.
Did you go to the beach?
Standing room only.
We had Sally Green, Molinex, and her daughter Olivia, and then my twin sister Camille and Nathan Epps came and went to the beach early. It was Saturday morning, but I'll say this: I've never gotten out before 7 to go set up, and I was out setting up on the beach or on the lake, which is the beach and the lake together, at 6:15 in the morning. Set up.
So you were worried about getting your spot, is that right?
Yeah, but I got us a great spot, and we had a great time. And
with all my little grandchildren there, all of my little grandchildren.
Yeah, it was great to see all a bunch of old friends. And then we actually, the greatest thing about it is you can just leave your truck and all your stuff, and we walked over to the Red Bar.
Man.
Great lunch at the Red Bar, and they had the jazz band playing, and got to hear some really good music. And then we went back to the beach. A couple days earlier, there I got to see the great Richard Calhoun and be around his family and see Brittany and Lucy and Wheezy and his little son Fletcher Calhoun.
You mean she called him? She must have got that. They must have got that name from Camille. Because I called Camille Wheezy for a long time.
Yeah, her name's Eloise.
Yeah, I know, but that's cute.
It was good to see Richard as well. So it's always great to see all your old Troy friends. During Beach Week and Memorial Day weekend. There's a lot of people that come down here.
Right.
I saw one. My wife showed me one picture of Panama City Beach. Mike's stomping ground, Mike and Carol's. Man, it was packed on that beach.
What, did they go down?
No, just a picture I saw.
Yeah, Mom and Dad are in the quieter side. They're in the western side. They're not in where that picture was.
Mike, I want to say hello to a true American, one of the great Americans that I know, and one of the great people that I know. I want to say hello to Nick Severa this morning, my attorney and great friend, Nick Severa. Hopefully he's doing well this morning from his home in Troy, Alabama. Of course, Nick Severa is one of the great lawyers in America.
Great he's one of the great Trojan boosters in America.
Yes, sir. And came down here driving a car from New York City. And when he got here, he did not know anybody around, and now he knows everybody. Nick Severa is one of the better known people in Troy and Pike County that I know.
I got a story similar to that, but this guy didn't stay. When I had the Troy Citizen, I got to know this kid from Washington State. He ended up going to Troy for about a year in school. You know how he ended up in Troy? Him and his buddy decided on a whim that they were going to go on a road trip and see America, and they were going to Panama City Beach, and their car died in Troy.
Oh, boy.
So they stayed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got to know him, but he did some work for me, and he was kind of a hoot and college football fan. Well, he met a girl from Troy and married a girl.
Did he really?
Yeah, while he was, I think he married her. But you talk about destiny playing a hand.
Yeah. You mean he never went back to Washington?
I don't know if I can't remember his name. Yeah. I did a story on him. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I was just one of these guys I bumped into, and I say, you're here because your car just broke down and you decided to stay here? And he said, yeah.
Well, Nick from New York City, fell in love with Troy, and he got his master's degree from Troy, and then he went to law school, and he got his, and he became a lawyer, and the rest is very well known. And a judge, yeah, he's a judge too. He's a judge and a great lawyer. And
sounds like that story you're talking about sounds like that movie with Joe Pesci when he's the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What's that called? Will Matthews claims it's based on his dad.
Yeah, I think it was based on Nick Sabera too.
What's the name of that movie? Ralph Macchio's in it.
Not Sweet Home Alabama, no.
Well, that was a real good movie. I remember it well.
It's a real funny movie though. Marissa Tomei is in it.
Yeah, she was one of the lawyers, wasn't she?
She was the lawyer's wife.
Yeah, lawyer's wife.
Have y'all been watching Stranger Things?
No, I've never watched that.
What is that?
Oh, it's the hot show, especially with the tweens and the teenagers and a lot of adults.
How do
it's on
you,
Netflix.
Well, Netflix. I've been looking at Netflix. Where do I pick it up on
Because
Netflix?
of COVID, it was like a lot of shows. It was super popular, but they just haven't had any new episodes for years. But it's finally back, and now they debut 7 shows at a time.
All right, now what's the name
so we
of it?
binge watch. The kids, my daughter and her friends love it.
I don't know if you'd like it. It's probably a kid's show, Dad.
Well, no, it's it's one that adults can enjoy as well.
What's the name of it again?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Written and directed by the Duffer Brothers.
Is this on
It's good. It's got high production value. The language is a little rough for kids at times, but it's a science fiction and horror.
The only 2 kids that are watching at my house is me and my wife. we love Netflix.
Mike and Carol Amos celebrated 52 years of marriage.
Oh boy!
Congratulations!
And somebody asked me what we had. I said we ate Mexican food.
Good.
And
where we ate.
Let me just say, wonderful for 52 wonderful years with
awesome.
my wife Carol, and she's a wonderful person, and I could not have done better. I promise.
Nope, you couldn't have. We ate at Hooks barbecue. One of our.
Right now, Hooks one opened yesterday though, was it?
No, Hooks was open on Sunday.
Oh yeah, but that was on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. So we went on Sunday.
I was thinking about Monday,
I saw the.
How's the new downtown location? Can you sit inside, or is that just to go pick up?
I really don't know. I think you can sit inside. I would think so. And of course, we've got several new restaurants coming to town, and we'll be telling you about them. Yanni's bringing in 2 different restaurants, Mike.
Well, I saw George Gilmore and Chris and their daughter.
Boy, they got a wonderful family.
And we were talking, and Chris was a classmate of Bobby, and she's talking about, and Bobby's back in town. And I said, yep, he's back. We're all back together, except for Russ. He's in Montgomery. And then about 30 seconds after she said that, my brother Bobby walks in the restaurant too with Will.
Well, that's great.
So we got to sit and visit with Will. Was getting ready to go play. He plays on the American Legion team. He was getting ready to go play an American Legion game.
Really, already.
I think he's on the 15 and under American Legion team.
Yeah, I know it. I'm going to keep up with that so I can see him pitch.
Well, I'll tell you, Will is now taller than me.
Yeah.
That's my 10th grade nephew, and I'm 6'2". And so there you go.
Well, Will, let me tell you this. There's a new coach in town, and he's going to have you out for football, I believe. And Will Rice is going to probably be playing wide receiver or quarterback. He might be a quarterback.
Well, he needs to be playing basketball, too. I mean,
he's going to end up being
6'4", 6'5", and he's about the same. He's going to soon be taller than Bobby, who's about 6'3", 6'3 and a half.
If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, Pike Liberal Arts has a new head coach and athletic director, and his name is Hugh Fountain, former Charles Henderson High School head football coach for 16 years. Yeah, he was head coach at the.
He was the head coach at Evergreen Escambia.
No.
Who's head coach at Evergreen was the first head coach job, W.S. Neal.
Yeah, W.S. Neal, his alma mater, he was head coach of that school and did a very good job. And then, of course, he went on and became Charles Henderson's head football coach for the last 16
And I'll tell you
years.
what he did. He beat Pike Liberal Arts in the first game this season.
Yeah. The only team to beat him.
Yeah.
Pike
Pike Liberal Arts
It's
won.
going to be interesting to see what Coach Fountain does as far as the staff. You know, I know that, 2 or 3 coaches have left that were coaching at Pike Liberal Arts last year that are now at Pike County.
Yeah, that's right.
Cornelius Griffin, and one of them's Ryan McCullough. I saw where he's at Pike County Hospital now, too. So he's got to build a staff, bring in some new coaches. Of course, he's been there, done that. Shouldn't be an issue. I think he's got a couple of his former staff still at Charles Henderson.
Well, and another thing, too, is to get bring in players, but also new coaches, and it's a job.
The player situation will be, something that I'm sure they won't have an issue with. But, they've had a tremendous amount of players coming to Pike Liberal Arts over the last few years.
But Mike, a lot of those players have left
They're leaving, yeah.
to
that's
go
right.
back to Charles
Pike County.
Henderson, to go back to Pike County, and to go back to Goshen.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying there's still other kids out there.
Oh, yeah.
That might, come to the private school.
Oh, this is going to be.
You don't necessarily recruit them, but
Yeah.
there's ways they end up, being able to get there, especially if they're at least 30 miles driving distance.
Yeah.
They recruit themselves. They want to go to the program that they can do well in sports and academics.
That is a brutal football schedule next year, though. My goodness. I mean, if he wins 2 or 3 games next year, that'll be a really phenomenal season after hearing who they're playing.
All right, can you do that? Can you give us another idea of who they're going to play?
I have to find it. We had it last week, but I mean, it's
I know they played 2 or 3 teams from Georgia.
Faith Academy, Mobile Christian, teams like that. I mean, a bunch of teams out of Georgia. They're having a hard time filling the schedule because of the fact that they don't play in an area
And then,
until 2 more years.
and when they do become, they've already got a region established, and
a good one, too,
they'll be
yeah.
playing a lot of well-known
Well, I
students in our area.
can name them at the top of my head. I think, let's see, this Luverne, Goshen, Highland Home, Zion Chapel,
Yeah.
and Pike.
That's right. It's going to be
So that's who they'll be playing in football in 2 years. And then I bet next year, after the next season, they'll probably get a little better football schedule when they get a little more time.
And-
Next year will be a booger bear.
And let's say this.
I don't know how you do it. I mean, next year, well, looks like I'm going to have to. Troy Messenger is making me do a survey or something.
But something I want
On August the 12th against the team that went to the 4th round of the playoffs last year, Highland Home. Then they traveled to Mobile Christian.
All right.
And now the Troy Messenger's making me pay $4.99 a month.
All right.
Maybe you told your brother about giving me online access, right?
Man, no, they got to make some money somehow. It's a pay for it. It's $4.99 a month. It's pretty cheap.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to pay $4.99 to start reading Messenger articles because they just blocked me out. I know the last game is the game they should win. Their last game is against Calhoun at home.
Calhoun, do they play Goshen?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think they played Montgomery Catholic, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
they're,
That's a Catholic. I mean, it's like a brutal schedule.
But that's a challenge. And then, if they can upset a couple of those teams, and some of those teams probably lost a lot of players, like Highland Home.
yeah, that's right.
So don't count them out.
Yeah, and another thing about Russ Hixson not being the head football coach, of course, he's being replaced by a legendary coach, but Russ Hixson is going to stay on as a baseball coach and an assistant football coach. And let me just say this: he is one great coach in the making right there at Pike Liberal Arts, Russ Hixson, and I'm sure Coach will will love to have him on the staff.
He's not one great coach in the making. He already is a great coach.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. But continue to be a great coach.
Yeah, Ronnie Cottrell's the head coach of Mobile Christian. So.
Remember, Ronnie Cottrell was assistant coach at Alabama for
He was
few
assistant
years.
coach
They
at
are
Bobby
going to play
Bowden.
Montgomery Catholic on September 23rd, and then they'll play Brooks County out of Whitman, Georgia. So those are just some of the things they'll play this year.
Boy, it is going to be a tough one.
Well, those kids better get in the weight room.
Get ready for a kickoff. We'll have Coach
It'll be
Fountain.
exciting, and then it'll be exciting to watch them segue into basketball too after that great basketball program they've developed.
If he can be reached, and I think he can, Coach Fountain, I'll have him on our show tomorrow.
Probably having a press conference today, I would think.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. Hello.
Hey, Bill, Will Matthews.
Hey. Happy Tuesday, Will.
Will, good morning to you, my friend. Will Matthews calling in from Ozark this morning, and of course the Matthews Law Firm comes today every day on our show, and we appreciate him very much. Will, big news in Troy. Former Charles Henderson head football coach Hugh Fountain is now the head football coach at Pike Liberal Arts School and athletic director. What do you think?
Wow. He's a good coach.
And of course, Coach Hixson is going to stay on the staff, and Coach Hixson, an outstanding football coach in his own right, and he'll be on the staff of Hugh Fountain.
What do you think? I think Coach Hixson is only 25, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he's head baseball coach, 2 state championships in baseball, football coach for a little while, athletic director. That's a lot on somebody's plate at that young age.
But one thing great about all of this is they're playing a public school schedule, which will enhance. I'm going to say it one more. Will enhance Pike Liberal Arts program, and not only their athletic program, but their school. It's going to be a great move for the school.
Crazy golf tournament over the weekend. Sam Burns has now won 3 times this year. The guy posts to 65 and has to wait 2 hours. He shoots a 65. He posts 9 under. Nobody thought that was going to hold up by any means. But the course at the Colonial was extremely tough. Scotty Scheffler, he was, won 4 times, won the Masters, won the number 1 player in the world. Falters down the stretch, ends up finishing at 9. They go into a playoff. Burns puts the ball off the green about 40 feet to win it in a playoff. Unbelievable golf tournament. I don't know if anybody got to watch it.
I tell you.
Scheffler did not make a birdie yesterday. Now, I can't believe that.
Yeah, he did. He sort of. I hate to say this because he's been so great, but he choked in that one, no question.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was watching late, and Davis Riley, the kid that played at Alabama, was about to win his first tournament. He'd gotten to 11 under. But then the wind started blowing out there, and these guys were missing short putts and just hitting it all over the place. It really is crazy how much wind, when wind's involved, how much that affects the player. I mean, as a golfer, you played at Vanderbilt, and then played your whole life. How do you hit the ball in the wind?
Well, I tell you, I got a tip when I was a junior golfer, and I never had any problem with wind. This is what you do. When you're against the wind's blowing in your face, you swing easy. When the wind's behind you, you swing hard. When you've got a crosswind, all right, say you've got a left to right wind, you play a draw into the wind, right to left shot. If you've got a right to left wind, you play a cut shot into the wind. Mm-hmm. And that helps the ball. You have control of the ball.
Now,
But-
tell me how you hit a cut shot.
Well, you just hold off on your follow through usually, and that does it.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, it was
Of course, we're talking to Will Matthews. Will, tell everybody what you shot down in Mississippi. I talked to you the other day. You got to be proud of.
I've been.
I think Will said 66, 67.
I've really been out of golf for the last 6-7 years. I haven't played much at all. Well, I started back playing last year during COVID a little bit. But this year, I hadn't played much, but I started lifting weights. I said, look, I'm either going to get better, get back some, or I'm going to quit. And I had a 72 about a week ago at Dothan Country Club. And that was the first time I felt like I was getting close. And then I played in a tournament down in Bay St. Louis. And the first day I shot a 74, and I was tickled pink, with a 74.
yeah.
And then on Saturday, I shot a 66.
Oh, Will.
9 birdies. And I had 9 birdies.
Oh, God.
3 bogeys. And shot 60.
Will, all your guys gonna believe that now that
Well,
you got to take
Will, how old are you? Did you shoot your age?
I'm 65. But what was funny, they made the mistake of letting me play for the senior team.
That's what I was wondering. that had a lot to do with it, didn't it?
And it had a real lot to do with it. Because I'm 65, you
Yeah.
play from up.
Sure, that's right. You play by the rules, don't you?
Well,
That's amazing. Great. I'm not surprised. I mean, keep going. Yeah.
but I couldn't believe, and I had a chance to shoot my age. On the last hole, I had a 10-foot putt for a birdie to shoot 65, and I missed it.
Well, let me ask this now. A few holes, you were actually able to reach it in one, weren't you?
No, I mean, par threes. I mean,
where you were hitting from, though.
I couldn't reach any of the par fives and twos.
I would say one of the great athletic accomplishments is shooting your age. That is really, really hard. So you'll do it at some point.
Your dad, he shot his age many times, didn't he, Will?
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, y'all played together and were well-known football team for a long time.
I'll tell you that story. We won Troy, the big Troy 4-ball one year, and he was trying to get me to lay back, and we were on, back then, 1 and 2 were 10 and 11 now.
Yeah, that's right.
And we had started on that little par 3, number 3.
The one that sloped so much.
12.
Yeah, okay.
So we were finishing up on 1 and 2, and we were in the clubhouse going through, and he said, now, son, you're not going to birdie these last 2 because it put us in the bottom of the 8th division. You don't want to do that. I said, okay, if that's the way you want it, I'm going to play as hard as I can play. Forget that.
Yeah.
He got him another beer or 2. We go down 1, and I pitch it in for an eagle on number 1, and number 2 was a real short par 5, and I threw it in there about 2 feet, and I go eagle. So we were in last place.
That was a hole that had a big oak tree in front of it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
okay.
And we were like in maybe 4 shots behind, and we were like in the bottom of the 8th division. And the next day, we burned it up and won the tournament.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, they did not ever let let y'all ever play again.
No, we played in it many times.
I know you did.
That was a good tournament.
Yeah.
I have no golf stories like that.
Does anybody care that the Birmingham Stallions are 7-0 in the new football league?
I'm happy for them.
Did they finally have a big crowd?
I mean, no. The USFL's playing all their games in Birmingham. All the teams are staying at the Sheraton across from the BJCC. Of course, that's where the new stadium is across the way. But they'll play their playoff games in Canton, Ohio. So it's kind of strange that Birmingham has all these games now, but when the actual playoffs start, they'll move all their teams to Canton.
Well, Canton at one time was the home of the National Football League, wasn't it? Canton,
Hall of Fame, yeah.
the National Football Hall of Fame.
Still is.
That's right. Now, I did want to tell y'all this because I know you don't know this. Vanderbilt won the national championship yesterday in golf.
Hey.
In golf?
Yeah, and they have a freshman from Birmingham named Sargent. He was the individual champion
Wow.
in golf. Now, today they play match play for the top 8 teams to see who wins the match play. Vandy plays Texas Tech. I think some of the other teams in it are the 2 Oklahoma schools, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and you got North Carolina's in it, and Pepperdine, and I can't remember. Vandy's the only SEC team in the top 8.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, they haven't won the national championship then. They won the medalist part of it, but the stroke play will determine, the match play will determine, but they might still.
They've won it before, and for years it was just the stroke play. Now they've added match play to the end of it.
Do they have this at one golf course? Is that the way they do it?
Yeah.
Well, this year it's in Arizona.
Okay.
It's in Phoenix, Arizona, or Scottsdale.
Well, that's going to be great if Vanderbilt can do that.
It will
Can
be
win
on
that.
the Golf Channel all day today and tomorrow.
Well, that's super. That's great. We'll watch it.
Well, the Vanderbilt's top golfer is from Birmingham. He went to Vanderbilt. He's like Will Matthews from Ozark. He said, I'm not going to Alabama or Auburn. I'm going to Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Alabama, guess where Alabama finished in the SEC this year?
Dead last.
Last, 14th.
How the mighty have fallen.
Do they still have the same coach? Do they still have the same coach? Okay.
there's Sewell. And then, of course, they got the local kid that was born in Troy as their assistant coach, Hunter Henry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sure was. I hope they'll hang on.
I mentioned that there was the senior PGA championship over the weekend as well. This guy kind of come out of nowhere and dominated the senior tour. His name's Stephen Alker. He's from New Zealand. He wins about every other week now on the senior tour. Of course, it's pretty amazing. He finished third at Bernhard Langer at about 64 years old. He's still playing phenomenal golf. And then the guy from Delville played pretty good in his first senior major PGA. Brian Gay finished 8th.
Who won the match, Mike? This Alger or whatever his name?
Alker, yeah, Alker. He's like dominating the team.
And nobody's ever heard of him though, have they?
Notice Doug Barron wasn't playing.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Well, his son is in the military, and his son's been in Syria, and they brought him home last weekend, so Doug did not play in the tournament because his son was coming back from Syria.
That's great that he did that.
I
He put his son above playing golf.
He sure did. That's wonderful.
What are American troops doing in Syria anyway? I mean,
Well, they're everywhere, Bill.
I know.
We got troops in probably 50 countries.
Syria, where are we? We haven't declared war with Syria. Gosh.
Hey, and every time I pick up something, we see UFOs. I mean, hey, evidently the UFOs are for real. Evidently they're for real, Will.
Well, why are the UFOs kidnapping cows?
I don't know. They must have found out how good cows were to eat. What now?
Well, they figured out that our favorite food is hamburgers and steaks, and they say, where do those come from? And I say, ha-ha.
You're being facetious, aren't you, Bill?
No,
Will?
look it up. Google it. Everybody's saying, my cow got abducted by a UFO.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Well, you can't blame them.
Let's take our first commercial break up. I'll let Steve break.
Be a great one. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Trucks on the bypass. Jason Gregory and the great staff there had a record number of sales this week.
Hey, Jim Jackson, Bill Jackson Ford here in Troy, Alabama, where not only can you get the best price on a new Ford, but we can also get you exactly what you're looking for. We all know inventories are low right now, but don't settle for something you don't love. Come by Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, and let us walk you through the retail order process and get you exactly what you're looking for. So come see us at Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, Alabama, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
The all-new Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center brings all of the latest and advanced 3D mammography and breast ultrasound services to the Troy area in our all-new outpatient facility. Dr. Lauren Thorington, along with our team of certified breast specialists, read your mammograms, which are performed by our registered radiologic technologists, bringing the best in women's health care to the Troy area. Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio, just off the square in Troy.
Hey, Jim Jackson with Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC right here in Troy, Alabama, and we've got some exciting news for you. After a 2-year suspension, GM has now reintroduced the sold order process on the redesigned GMC Sierra 1500 and Chevrolet Silverado 1500. So come in and order yours today and not have to wait 6 months to get exactly what you want. So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
I have the honor this time with Skylar.
All right, we're back on the air.
Back on the air, and of course we got a lot to talk about today. If you've turned this on late, there's been a coaching change at Pike Liberal Arts. The new head football coach is Hugh Fountain, longtime head football coach at Charles Henderson out of Troy for 16 years, and of course he also was head coach at the Scambia Academy High School of there down in Atmore, and of course he won several state championships down there. And,
yeah, he had a good thing going with the Post Creek Indians. They really supported the program. He had a lot of great kids. And, we had him on the show, about a year ago?
Yeah.
With state championship?
No, it was right before they played Pike Liberal Arts this year. The first game he was on, we had a great interview with him.
Great interview, yeah. Maybe we should go back and play that interview for everybody to hear Coach Fountain. It was a really, really moving interview.
Yeah, and then at the same time, we've got a lot to talk to him about with the new coaching change. And, of course, Coach Russ Hixson, he'll remain on the staff, and that's very important because he did an outstanding job with the program last year. And, of course, he's the brilliant young, wouldn't you say, brilliant young high school baseball coach at Pike Liberal.
Let's think about it. He's been the head baseball coach 2 years.
Yeah.
2 state championships. Can't get any better than that.
I believe it.
And then he becomes the head football coach right before the state championship game, and he leads them to the state championship in football.
Right, that's right, yeah.
So he's really got 3 state championships on his resume, and he's 25 years old.
And then we look at...
But can they beat GW Long is the question.
Well, yes, they can beat GW Long.
We don't play them this year.
Talk about Brantley being Titletown. GW Long is Titletown. More state baseball championships than anywhere.
That's right. They're outstanding, and congratulations.
I think they are. They've won more state championships in one sport than any other team.
And he's got Troy ties, Mike. He was the head coach at Long High School at Skipperville. Was one of the Miller kids from Bruton, Alabama.
Yeah, it's Drew and Wade Miller.
Yeah, that's right.
You know who's won more state championships in one sport than GW Long in baseball? Probably is Tuscaloosa Academy in basketball.
Yeah, I remember that streak.
But of course, it's much easier to win a state championship in the AISA because you only have to beat about 14 or 15
Mike
teams.
Rice has done research on it. In fact, he wrote a nice article not long ago about winning
Who's won
his
the most
teams,
state titles, yeah.
winning his teams in
Here in the
private
AISA,
schools,
they
public
were, Tuscaloosa Academy has won a ton just because of basketball. Edgewood had won a lot. Glenwood had won a lot. Morgan Academy back in the day.
Yeah.
Had won. Monroe Academy's been kind of consistent. They've won some. Nobody's been like Pike Liberal Arts for the last couple of years, though. I mean, Pike Liberal Arts has won 11 state championships, and they've won them all since 2009, I think.
You know, I can remember I did a lot of officiating back in those days, and I officiated those Tuscaloosa teams that won so many, and they were a great basketball team. And you know, the unreal thing about it, they were great in boys basketball, and then the best girls team was another Tuscaloosa team. They had
Another private school?
from another school, another private school, and you can do some research on that.
I hadn't researched the girls' sports.
Yeah.
But, you know, Pike Liberal Arts has won. They went out on the AISA winning 6 straight in the major sports. They also won the state championship in golf. And then I read in the Messenger, the sports editor let me know that they won them in powerlifting as well. Cheerleading.
Yeah.
But nobody has won consecutive state championships in one academic year, football, basketball, baseball, and then did it 2 years in a row, which gives you 6 consecutive in the history of the state of Alabama. Pike has an advantage because they're playing in a smaller classification, but still.
Yeah.
If you had won, say the SEC has 14 teams, right?
Yeah.
What's the odds that you could win 6 consecutive SEC championships in football, basketball, and baseball? Astronomical.
And
Looks like
go ahead, Mike.
Looks like Scott Cross is at it again. Great way to end his recruiting class for 2022. He goes into Texas again. You know, of course, that's where Coach Cross is from, and gets a kid out of Missouri City, Texas, Lawrence Elkins High School. A kid named Jackson Fields, 6'8", 215-pound forward out of high school. Apparently, I've seen some video on this kid. He can jump out of the gym. Jackson is long, athletic rebounder, according to Cross, and shot blocker that can stretch the floor with outside shooting. But he can also be a lob threat on the pick and roll, Cross explained. He's a great defender that's very versatile. Jackson's amazing shot blocker, but also has the ability to guard every position on the floor. He will help make the Troy Trojans the best defensive team in the Sun Belt. Also interesting, this kid was a great football player in high school, receiving offers in football from Nevada, Air Force, and the University of Texas San Antonio.
Oh boy, that's a good program too.
So will he try to play both at Troy or just play basketball?
They need to go ahead and sign him. Did they go ahead and sign him? We don't leave him.
What did he play? Wide receiver?
He's already signed in basketball with Troy, but I'm just saying this kid's also a great football player.
Yeah.
What position did he play? He must have been wide receiver.
Yeah.
Tight end.
Tight end.
Tight end, 6'8" tight end.
Yeah. I see a picture of this kid there on TroyTrojans.com. Though he's all muscle. It looks like too. He's not like a little skinny kid.
I wish we could do that. I wish we could show
Troy
that.
was already big. They're just getting bigger. They are going to be the best defensive team in the Sun Belt Conference.
And then of course,
Coach Cross's connections out of Texas is unbelievable. High school coaches still. I mean, it's amazing how many kids on Troy's roster come from Texas.
well, he's so well respected as a person for one thing. Everybody just loves him, and he's a great person, and he's putting together quite a team.
Yeah, very interesting. Troy was only supposed to lose 2 guys, 2 senior players off that team, and now the signing class is 3 guys, and they brought in 3 other transfers from the transfer portal. So we're talking about 6 guys are coming in that were only supposed to be 2 spots available. So Troy obviously had 4 other guys that had left the program. Now, who these guys are?
You know the way this thing's happening with the portal. I hope I pronounced it right. He could play with Troy next year and have a good year, and play for Southern Cal the next year. You know, because of the darn portal.
Well, I mean that kind of got me
concerned about Troy's guards. You know, Duke Miles and Duke Dean
Yeah.
are great players. I don't know if those guys are still at Troy or not.
We'll definitely
You're wondering who's gone off the team last year that won 20 games.
We're going to find out. We'll have Coach Cross on our show later on in the month, and we'll get and plus we've got also Coach Summerall says will be on this show too, so we'll have some up-to-date news.
I haven't met Coach Summerall yet. Good.
Mike, one game, one thing Troy has already done in football, we want you to pay close attention to this, is they have already brought a new quarterback online from the portal. So Troy now has 4 quarterbacks, and then another on 4 quarterbacks that are on scholarship, and another one. Well, actually, maybe another one as a walk-on.
Probably so.
So they've got 5 quarterbacks they'll be working with.
You got Tucker Kilcrease that'll be joining.
Tucker Kilcrease.
So, and then you got the Peter Costelli kid that transferred in from Utah.
Tell us about him. I want to say California every time I pick up my pen, but he's actually.
He's from Mission Viejo Hospital, which is a legendary program in California.
And he was a starting quarterback.
Redshirted last year at Utah, but was the #1 player in Utah's signing class when he signed with Utah, but never saw the field in an actual game.
He was a 4-star prospect, and he was in the ESPN top 300, which, as far as I know, is the first guy Troy's ever got from the ESPN.
I think you're
top
correct.
300.
Yeah, and that's 300 in the nation as any player. It could be a tackle, a guard, or quarterback.
Yeah, we got some football times for Troy already. Of course, there'll be some more changes and some other games announced, but it looks like Troy's game against Ole Miss on September the 3rd will be on the SEC Network, so that's going to be great exposure. September 10th against Alabama A&M at 6 p.m. will be on ESPN3. September 17th at App State will be on ESPN+. That's going to be a tough trip to App State on the 17th. At Western Kentucky will be on the ESPN Network at 6 p.m. So I guess that's ESPN. ESPN Network. I don't know what else that could be.
All right, wait a minute. What's the date on it again?
October 1st against Western Kentucky.
Okay, October 1st. Okay.
On the ESPN Network, and then on ESPNU, which a lot of people in Troy Cable have ESPNU, at South Alabama at 6:30 on October the 20th. And then the Sun Belt Championship game will be December 3rd. Of course, that's to be announced. That's usually at the site of the top team in the league to host that game. It'll be at 2:30 on ESPN.
Yeah. Oh, all right, and that's just early selections, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's basically only 5 of the games so far on television.
For all of you folks out there, the exciting thing about all of this is Troy plays Ole Miss at 3 o'clock from Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Ole Miss, and that will be 3 o'clock kick on a Saturday, the first Saturday what's the actual date, Mike?
September 3rd.
September 3rd.
Average high temperature in Austin, Mississippi on September 3rd is 98 degrees.
Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. Of course, they're one of the very few that still play on artificial turf. Name the schools that play on artificial turf in the SEC.
I think Arkansas, Ole Miss, Missouri,
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah.
Both play on grass.
All right, let's and
I know Auburn plays on grass, Alabama plays on grass, LSU plays on grass, Mississippi State plays on grass, South Carolina plays on grass, Georgia plays on grass, Tennessee plays on grass. Yeah, I think.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
conversation before. It's like 4 or 5 schools playing on.
You know, it's amazing that that more schools are not playing on the all-weather surface.
I like the grass.
Oh, I'm sure you do, and it's the way football is supposed to be played. But
I don't know about Oklahoma and Texas when they join the SEC. If any of them are field turf or not.
yeah,
That's a good question.
yeah, it is. In Southern Cal, Mike.
All I know is it can be hot when Troy plays Ole Miss, and it's going to be hot when Alabama plays Texas the next week at noon. It's probably hotter at 3 o'clock than it is at noon, though, don't you think?
Yeah. Well,
I will say though, I feel like this is a better Grove experience though to build a tailgate.
Yeah.
The Grove.
Yeah,
Like early in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
About 11 o'clock kick. I mean, shoot, you be able to get out there about 11 o'clock and really enjoy the experience.
this is going to be a great time for Trojans to go to big-time football, Ole Miss, and enjoy the wonderful features of downtown Oxford, Mississippi, and all of this excites you, doesn't it, Rice?
Yes, pull upset on SEC Network, have a lot of viewers.
And get there and tailgate.
Coach Summerall's first game against Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss will have a good team.
And you've heard of the world-famous Grove. Of course, I would say that the Ole Miss Grove is the most popular place to be of any college football game in the country.
Tailgating.
Is tailgating at the Grove.
When you think of tailgating, you think of the Grove at Ole Miss.
That's right. And we'll be part of it.
Downtown Oxford is a really cool town, too. A lot of great restaurants, a lot of fun stuff to do.
All right, now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've got everything you need to know.
Hard place to stay, though. There's not a whole lot of hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Everywhere you do stay is going to be extremely expensive.
Yeah. And I would think that people probably open up their homes sometimes to rent out some rooms, probably. Don't you think?
Is there any city
they do a lot of Airbnb, yeah, you're right.
Is there like a city within an hour or so that you could stay at?
Well, you're not
People
too,
close.
and you're not real far from Memphis. You're really not but about an hour from Memphis.
People is a lot closer.
But it's an hour to Memphis.
I'm trying to think of a town you could stay in that wasn't a casino town, so those are going to be pretty high rates.
That one's not far at all. I want to laugh, Mike. It's not really far from.
It's like a lot of people when they play in Tuscaloosa, they'll stay in Birmingham, and then when people play Auburn, where do they stay? They stay in Montgomery or Columbus, Georgia.
Well, Michael went with his sweet dad, to a baseball game over there one night, and we stayed at the casino. And bless his heart, he didn't have a good day at the casino, and we were leaving out, and doggone, they give him a ticket. They give him a ticket. We're not even out of the complex yet, and they give him a ticket for speeding.
Oh my God!
It was bad enough that we already lost, and we also gave some money back to the state.
Can I tell you what happened to me when I went to Disney World?
Oh gosh!
Toll roads are something we don't have in Alabama, hardly.
I want you to hear this, Mike.
But they got them on the way to Central Florida, toll highways and toll roads. Well, I paid several of them. You know, I had quarters ready to throw in the little thing. Apparently, I missed one of them. I got confused. And when I said, well, did I pay it or not? And my wife said, just go on. Well, sure enough, about a month later, I get something from the state of Florida, and I missed it. And, of course, they got me with the cameras, you know. And then I was late paying it, so a $5 ticket became $13.
Yeah. But
what I'm thinking, though, is, man, this is the brave new world where they get you with the cameras, they bill you, they like it that you're late because instead of paying $5, you got to pay $13. And I'm thinking one day we're going to have digital currency, we're going to do away with cash, and they're not even going to have to bill me. They're just going to take it straight out of my digital bank account.
Well, Michael also realizes that this Peach thing in Atlanta that they don't play either. What was it called, Mike?
It's called the Peach Pass. You have to buy it to drive on a certain lane.
but we were running late, and we were going to just go ahead and be fine after we got to our residence.
We're going to the Troy Duke basketball game. Troy is playing the legendary Duke in the NCAA regional up in Greenville, South Carolina.
We would have never made it that game on time if we had not gone the Peach route, you know.
Yeah, Peach Path. Yeah.
But
Seneca from Oxford actually is a long drive, and it's through these back country roads in Mississippi. It's an hour and 20 minutes from Oxford.
Well, how far is it from Memphis?
So the closest drive by far is Tupelo. Tupelo is about 45 minutes.
You know, we don't have them in Troy, thank goodness. These cameras that get you for speeding and running stoplights. But man, they got them in Montgomery, and I bet some of our viewers in Montgomery, we're in some houses in Montgomery.
And Michael,
they get you, buddy, for running the yellow light.
Oh yeah, no question about it. We knew we were going to have to pay a fine, but it was well worth it. We made it to the game on time.
Looks like you said Batesville. Batesville is off I-55. That's one of the closest places to Oxford.
Well, it's going to be fun, and let me tell you something. A lot of people will drive over and drive back, or drive back to Montgomery or Birmingham or whatever. Birmingham, yeah.
It's not a bad drive from Birmingham.
Yeah, so that should be the route to take, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're talking about Troy versus Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi, and its kickoff is at 3:00. And it's going to be on ESPN television. No, SEC Network.
You know, there was a football story we haven't talked about yet. Michael, you help me out here. Alabama gets a commitment from this quarterback for next year's class that's a 4 or 5-star quarterback. But what got everybody's attention is Alabama has offered this kid a scholarship. And they did it the week before Arch Manning was supposed to visit. So does that mean that Alabama has already given up, know that they're not going to get Arch Manning?
Yeah, it sure looks like it to me. It sure looks like it.
The kid is Eli Holstein.
Where's he from?
Louisiana.
Well, he looks like he's pretty good, right?
Yeah, he originally already he submitted to Texas A&M, and then decommitted from Texas A&M, and then Alabama signed him. He's 6'5". 220 pounds.
That's prolific. That is prolific, Mike.
Yeah, I watched the film on him. It looks like the real deal.
Is he supposed to be good? Is he a drop back passer, or can he run, or what?
He's a little dual threat, but I mean, the thing is Arch Manning. Now you'd have to consider Alabama out of the mix. I would think
they're not going to get Arch Manning. I don't believe it.
You got the Simpson kid. Who looked really good in the spring game for Alabama, but was a 5-star, out of Martin, Tennessee. His dad's the head coach at UT Martin. And then you got this Milroy kid that out of Texas that a lot of people think is the next Jalen Hurts, maybe even better. I mean, I don't know if Arch Manning wants that competition.
Yeah.
I don't think it does either. Arch Manning, go ahead and sign with Ole Miss. That's where that's where you're gonna get more exposure than you ever get.
I don't know if the Mannings are real close to Kiffin though. I don't know what they think of Kiffin.
Well,
I can see Texas for sure.
Yeah. They need that, and O'Brien, is it O'Brien?
Or LSU or Georgia?
Who's the coach at LSU at Texas?
Steve Sarkisian.
He would be perfect to handle.
Brian Kelly being an LSU, yeah, that's a possibility now too. I don't know if they're a big fan of Orgeron.
Yeah. Well, listen.
My opinion is this kid will try to go to like a Texas, somewhere like that, to try to make his own mark. I mean, his dad played at Ole Miss, his uncle played at Ole Miss, and then his other uncle played at Tennessee. I don't know if he wants to go to Ole Miss.
Well, it's going to be very interesting, but no question, he's not going to Alabama. He is not going to Alabama. You can believe that.
Well, Alabama seems like
that's too much exposure for Coach Saban.
I missed the 8A game, believe it or not, but Michael tells me this kid from Tennessee looked pretty good for a high school senior playing in the 8A game. And then, man, this Milrow, I can't wait to see him. He looks like...
I mean, that Milrow looks like a world champion Mr. Olympus or something. I mean, the guy's... I've never seen a quarterback look that big and strong on the field.
All right, is he the one that comes from California or what?
No, he's the kid that's been on the roster for Texas.
Oh, okay, on the roster. And then you've got...
He's the heir apparent after Bryce. He can step in when Bryce leaves.
Why would that guy commit to Alabama, Mike, if he didn't think he could play right away?
Well, I mean, Bryce Young's going to be gone. I mean, the quarterback competition is going to be wide open out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, Milroy is such a great athlete that they're going to have a package with him down the goal line.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's just a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah.
Alabama ought to get a lot of PT. Because Alabama will be up in a lot of games. You know, people forget that about Tua, and they say, oh, he got beat out by Jalen Hurts. Tua played a lot of football when he was a freshman, remember? And in mop-up duty, his mop-up duty was a quarter and a half or 2 quarters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the highlights of the day, and it is a lot of highlights. Hugh Fountain is the new head football coach at Pike Liberal Arts School, the former Charles Henderson coach, 16 years, and of course he's also coached at his alma mater at Bruton, W.S. Neal, and then recently a long-term coach at Skimby Academy in Atmore for the last 8 years or something like that, 10 years, and won several championships there. Is coming back to Troy. Hugh Fountain is coming back to Troy, and I think this is a huge plus for Pike Liberal Arts School. And the other big headline, and it stands out, I guarantee you, for Troy folks, is that Troy will appear on the SEC network against the University of Mississippi. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff from Oxford,
you think they'll let the band go?
They'll let the.
I want the full marching band.
I doubt if they'll let them go.
Might have the pep band. I mean, the stadium only holds 65,000.
Yeah.
So,
they'll be. I'm sure it'll probably just be
it's not too far a drive. I know it costs a lot to ride those buses over there now, but I'd love to see them, and I don't think it'll be sold out.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, it's going to be a lot of people there though.
Be too hot.
But it's the first game of the season. There'll be a lot of people there, a lot of Troy people. I think a lot of Troy people will come. You know,
I know.
Go to this, and it's easy to. They could drive back to.
How far is it over to Oxford from here?
Oh, God.
I'm looking up as we speak. 5 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours is the quickest route. It's 5 hours, and then.
How far from Birmingham, Mike? How far from Birmingham would it be?
Basically going Troy, Montgomery to Birmingham, and then getting on 222 corridor, that new interstate, and you go through Winfield and all that. To Oxford.
But it's four lane all the way too, though. It's 4 lane all the way.
Yeah, 4 lane.
Doesn't Max live kind of close to Ole Miss?
Yes, he does.
Well, we can go stay with Max.
We could, and let us sleep on the floor.
He's got friends that he house sits for.
We
all
need
the
to
time
talk
have
to
real nice place.
Max lives in Fulton, Mississippi. That is on the way.
And Max has already secured. He's already got room in the Ole Miss press box. Yeah.
Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, you do too. Mike Amos calling in from our lovely village of Mississippi. The Florida Gulf. And,
it was packed over Memorial Day weekend. You got Memorial Day weekend is the beginning of summer, and then Labor Day weekend is the end of summer.
Hope you enjoyed today, and spread the news of all this good information for Troy people And we'll see you tomorrow, bright and early for Today in L.A. Hope to talk to Coach Hugh Fountain tomorrow.